Hey, so in this video, I'm going to talk you through all of the strategies within Profit Protector Pro. The strategies are the real crowning jewel to the software and what makes it so amazing. So in order to find out more about them, you need to come to the help page and click on Strategies Explained. When you are here, you get a list of every single strategy with a description of how exactly each one works. So you can come here to familiarize yourself with the strategies, find out which one is going to work out best for you, or you could come here to remind yourself of how each one works. This page will always be available to you. So the first thing to understand is that there are different types of strategies within Profit Protector Pro. So your first lot are all algorithmic strategies. This means they have an artificial intelligence behind them, which is basically really clever. It allows them to adapt to different situations. They are constantly learning about the listing that you apply them to, and they give you a lot more flexibility with your repricing for whatever item that you apply them to. Your next lot of strategies are all rule-based strategies. So these don't have an artificial intelligence behind them. They do basically what they say on the tin. They're very straight up. They perform a simple, straightforward function. So for example, match BuyBox will do exactly that. You then have the used goods and books algorithmic strategy. So this one is made for sellers that are selling used goods and books, but we'll explain how this one works a little bit later on. And then you have a series of MF strategies. Now, MF stands for merchant fulfilled. So you would apply these if you were an FBM seller primarily, or if you had any FBM items in your inventory. These ones are more focused on the FBM competition, as this will be your main competition if you have any FBM items. But these ones are made just for you if you are that kind of seller or have those kinds of items. So let's work our way through. Now, the super aggressive dominator, in a nutshell, how this one works is it will go just underneath the buy box price, scoop up the buy box, and then it will try and bump up the price as best as it can in order to find a sweet spot. Now, what I mean by a sweet spot is this is the point where the super aggressive dominator can not only hold the buy box, but make you as much money as it possibly can whilst maintaining a hold over the buy box. So it's very aggressive, very competitive. It will compete with any seller regardless of their fulfillment method. And it's great if you want to be really competitive. It's great for a busy listing. It does recommend that you set your minimum price at least $1 or pound cheaper than the buy box. That way it has the wiggle room to get just underneath the buy box price in order to scoop it up. Next up, you have the aggressive sales generator. So this one works very similarly to the super aggressive dominator. So it will undercut other sellers where necessary in pursuit of the buy box. It will compete with all sellers, again, regardless of if they are FBA or FBM. So this one is ideal if you wish to dump stock quickly, or on listings where Amazon are selling and they don't necessarily like to share the buy box. So again, it's very aggressive, it's very competitive. And again, probably something that you would probably want to use on a busier listing. You have the Balanced Sales Accumulator. Now this one gives you the best of both worlds of the more passive profit focused strategies and the more aggressive competitive ones. So it's kind of half and half. So it's just as sales focused as it is profit focused. So this one will give you super quick sales, and it does have a bit more of a profit focus about it. When I say that something has a sales focus or a profit focus, that doesn't mean it completely focuses on the sales only and forgets about the profit. It's just which way they kind of lean. So again, an aggressive strategy will be a bit more sales focused. That's why it can be so competitive. And a more passive strategy will be a bit more profit focused because it isn't being as aggressive as one of the aggressive strategies. So this one is a good place to start if you aren't sure what strategy to set initially. This one is balanced, so you might continue to use this because you might like the strategy, but you can use this one to start with. And if you feel you need to go a bit more aggressive, then of course you can. Or if you feel you can afford to be a bit more passive and profit focused, then you can switch it to one of those strategies. But this one is a good all-around strategy in general. You have the cautious sales enhancer as well. So this one is kind of similar to the balanced sales accumulator. So it is split fairly 50-50 with a bit more of a profit focus. It won't compete with merchant fulfilled sellers, and it favors a bit more of a match buy box approach when the buy box is held by an FBA seller. There may be the odd occasion where it feels it needs to go slightly more aggressive, but this is rare. You have the dynamic profit builder. So this is the start of the more passive profit focused strategies. So it has a bit more of a passive approach, favoring a match buy box plan. It won't compete with merchant fulfilled sellers. Again, it's more FBA focused. And again, this one is a bit more focused on making you a profit. You have the hybrid profit harvester. So again, this one is a little less aggressive than the last. It's a bit more profit focused. It won't compete with merchant fulfilled sellers. It will match the buy box. And then once it has it, it will rapidly work to increase your price. And then last but not least of the algorithmic strategies, you've got the passive profit maximizer. So this one is very laid back. You'd probably use this on a much quieter listing. And basically what this one will do is it will wait for the buy box to fall to it. And once the buy box does fall to you, it will then often try to achieve your maximum price, which is really great. So it does 100% maximize your profit, hence the name. Then you have all of your different rule-based strategies. So if you do need a bit more clarification on how they work, you can get the description here. But these ones, as I said before, will do what they say on the tin. So penny under buy box, penny over buy box, they'll do just that. Match the low price, it'll do just that. 1% under low price. There's lots of different rule-based strategies in here that you can choose from. If you have a very simple aim and you want it to perform a very simple function, these ones are perfect for that. You then have the use goods and books algorithmic strategy. So this one uses a list of prices that are the same use subcondition to compete with other use listings in that same subcondition while using some of the smart strategy techniques to try hard to get the sale. If no one else is selling in the same subcondition as you, it will take prices from the ones better and worse than yours to figure out an average of where the price should fit based on the competition. So for example, if you are selling something that is used good, but no one else is selling in that same condition, it will try and find listings in used very good and in used acceptable, and then figure out a price to compete that is sensible based on the others. So this one looks at conditions, which is only right as it is used goods and books, and there are several conditions to compete with. And then once it figures that out, it will then try and get you the buy box in order to make sales and make you a profit. So this one, in terms of sales and profit focused, is split fairly 50-50, and it also focuses on other used conditions as well. This one works really well for every seller that does have used goods and books to sell. Next up, you have your merchant fulfilled strategies. So these ones work very much the same as the strategies that we had up here. They just have an FBM focus. So the aggressive sales generator, again, works the same as the one that we had earlier. It's very aggressive, it's very competitive. It will go just underneath the buy box in order to scoop it up, and then it will try and bump up the price. PPP takes the postage cost from your migrated shipping template, and that postage cost is included within your minimum. So for instance, if your product is $10 and your shipping is $2, you will see your minimum price go as low as $8, as that is allowing $2 for your shipping, and PPP is therefore staying at or above your $10 minimum. Don't forget as well, you also need to check your merchant fulfilled shipping settings in your account settings. So make sure that you know what that is set to. You can use the free shipping or the migrated shipping plan, and it will take that into account here as well. You've got the merchant fulfilled balance sales accumulator. So again, this one works very much the same as the regular balance sales accumulator. So it's just as sales focused as it is profit focused. Again, it is probably a good place to start if you have FBM items and you're not sure if you want to be really aggressive or really passive and profit focused. You've got the merchant fulfilled cautious sales enhancer. So again, this one works the same as what I mentioned before. So it is a bit more profit focused, but will be aggressive at times. And then you have the dynamic profit builder for merchant fulfilled items, and this one is more profit focused. You then have the option to set a default strategy. So the default is the strategy that you would choose if it is your favorite or one that works really well on your item. So what you do to set this is you'd come to account and then profit protector pro settings, and you can set your default strategy in here. This will also include any of the custom strategies that you have made as well. And then what you do is you go to repricing, and you'll be able to select default from the list, and it'll be whichever strategy you've set to be your default. All strategies to default will actually mean all strategies to the strategy you have selected to be your default. And if you wanted to apply any other strategy, that will be available in this list, as well as any custom strategies that you have made as well and marked as active. Custom strategies you can find here. So basically you can make your own strategy from scratch. Now, once you've made it, you need to make sure it is active. You can also view the custom strategy and everything that you selected for each of the questions. You can edit that strategy as well, or you can delete it using the bin icon here. Now, once you click on create new custom strategy, it will run you through a series of questions. So what fulfillment method do you wish to compete with? FBA, merchant fulfilled, or all sellers? It's completely up to you. What condition do you want to compete with? So all conditions, new, any of the used sub conditions. Let's select new. And then it will run you through a series of different questions. So what should PPP do in this scenario? There is no buy box and there are other sellers with the selected fulfillment method and condition. Now you can either go to min, max, or break even, match other sellers low price, mid price, or high price, and you can select if that is the FBA seller or merchant fulfilled seller. You can go a certain amount over or under the break even, other sellers low price, mid price, or high price. And again, you can select if this is the FBA seller or the merchant fulfilled seller, or if you prefer to express this same thing as a percentage, then you can. So it is completely up to you what you select here. So there is no buy box and there are other sellers with the selected fulfillment method and condition. So what I would probably want to do is go to my minimum. What should PPP do in this scenario? There is no buy box and there are no other sellers with a selected fulfillment method and condition. You basically just follow these questions through and select the relevant action. So there's no buy box and no other sellers. So I'll go to the maximum. What should PPP do in this scenario? There is a buy box and there are other sellers. So in this case, I might want to match the buy box price. There is a buy box and there are no other sellers. Let's go to my max price. You have the buy box. What repricing action do you want to take? So this one, you have a couple of extra options. So you can just do nothing, or you can switch strategy. So now that you have the buy box, do you want to go a bit more aggressive? Do you want to go a bit more passive? It's completely up to you. So you can pick any of these same options that we had before, or you can switch your strategy. So it is completely up to you which one you select. And then would you like to change strategy once your product has been for sale for X period of time? So then you can go yes or no. And if you click on yes, you'll follow through with some more similar questions to the ones that we had before. But once you've made your strategy and you are happy with it, click on save. You can give a name to your strategy and also describe it as well if you want to remember how exactly you set it up or something to remind you of how it works. Click on save and it will appear here. So remember, mark it as active if you want it to be in the list of strategies that you can apply. Go to repricing and you'll see that it is now in this list. Hopefully this video has helped you. Hopefully you found a strategy that works really well for you. Good luck and see you in the next training video.